Hello guys, today I am again going to discuss about the Soul Question Paper series of 2018, and today I am going to discuss the third part of that series. So today's question is: which of the following themes was not common to the works of Qualier poets such as Thomas Crewe, Sir John Denham, Edmund Waller, Sir John Suckling, James Shirley, Richard Lovelace, and Robert Herrick? Options are A. Loyalty to the King, B. Ideals of the Good Life, C. Pious devotion to religious virtues, D. Carpe Diem. So, what is the answer? The option number C is the answer, pious devotion to the religious virtues. If we discuss about its full detail, the Qualier Poets was a school of English poets of the 17th century that came from the classes that supported King Charles I during the English Civil War 1642 to 1651. Charles, a connoisseur of the fine art, supported poets who created the art he craved. These poets in turn grouped themselves with the king and his services, thus becoming Qualier poets. A Qualier was traditionally a mounted soldier or knight, but when the term was applied to those who supported Charles, it was meant to portray them as roistering gallants. They were separate in their lifestyle and divided on religion from the Roundheads, who supported Parliament consisting often of Puritans. Qualier poets is different from traditional poetry in its subject matter. Instead of tackling issues like religion, philosophy, and the arts, Qualier poetry aims to express the joy and simple gratification of celebratory things much livelier than the traditional works of their predecessors. The intent of their works was often to promote the crown, particularly Charles I. The Qualier poets strove to create poetry where both pleasure and virtue thrived. The next question is: who among the following are referred to as the Scottish Chaucerian? Options are Thomas Hockley, B. Robert Henryson, C. John Lydgate, D. William Dunbar. The right combination according to the code is AB, CD, BC, and BD. So, what is the answer? The answer number option number D is the answer. B and D, Robert Henryson and William Dunbar. If we discuss about its detail, Chaucer's influence on 15th century Scottish literature began toward the beginning of the century with King James I of Scotland. This first phase of Scottish Chaucerianism was followed by a second phase comprising the works of Robert Henryson, William Dunbar, and Gavin Douglas. At this point, England had recognized Scotland as an independent state following the end of the War of Scottish Independence in 1357. Because of Scottish history and the English recent involvement in that history, all of these writers are familiar with the works of Geoffrey Chaucer. The next question is: the enigmatic castle which K attempted to reach in vain in France, Kafka's castle belonged to. So options are A. Count West, B. Count Aloof West, C. Count East West, D. Count Strange West. So what is the answer? The option number A is the answer, Count West. If we discuss about its detail, Franz Kafka was a German-speaking Bohemian Jewish novelist and short story writer. The Castle in 1926 novel, Franz Kafka's most emotional work, virtually the only one in which the protagonist formed continuous close relationships with other characters, including love. The protagonist is on a quest for a goal that proves unattainable. The protagonist in the story, K, who by all descriptions is a simple surveyor sent to measure the land, can't reach the count of the castle. Count West, no matter how hard he tries, the castle is often understood to be about alienation, unresponsive bureaucracy, the frustration of trying to conduct business with non-transparent, seemingly arbitrary controlling systems, and the futile pursuits of unobtainable goal. One of the great existentialist fictions ever written that contains all of the primal emotion like confusion, isolation, immobility, estrangement, and a dark sense of tragedy. Which of the following statement is true of the way of the world? The way of the world failed on stage. B. Millamant and Mirabel failed to obtain the consent of Millament's aunt for their marriage. C. The way of the world presents a heroine pretending to love an older man. D. The way of the world was performed and published in 1702. So, what is the answer? The option number A is the answer. The way of the world failed on the stage. If we discuss about its detail, The Way of the World is a play written by the English playwright William Congreve. It premiered in early March 1700 in the Theatre of Lincoln's Inn Fields in London. It is widely regarded as one of the best restoration comedies, and it is still occasionally performed. A stage play in the form of a comedy of manners which satirizes the attitudes, affections, and foibles of the privileged classes, witty dialogue, and romantic intrigue, or are among the characteristic of this genre. The Way of the World had only a single action to which everything was related, but it is included a scheme and a counter plot to frustrate the scheme, and then moves to foil the counter plot. There were too many episodes, events, reversals, and discoveries, most of them huddled in the last act, and they demanded too much of the audience. The plot of the play is so complex that it may partly to blame for the lack of critical success. When Congreve first put it on, the plot is confusing but almost irrelevant, and the situations exist really only for the conversations. Next question is, which of the following would not be invoked to describe a form of new historicist criticism? A. Archaeology of social construct. B. Genealogy of patriarchal discourse. C. Cultural materialism. D. Post-structural recovery of authorial intents. So, what is the answer? The option number D is the answer. Post-structural recovery of authorial intent. If we discuss about its detail, new historicism is a method of literary criticism that emphasizes the historicity of text by relating it to the configurations of power, society, or ideology in a given time. New historicism is a literary theory based on the idea that literature should be studied and interpreted within the context of both the history of the author and the history of the critic. Based on the literary criticism of Stephen Greenblatt and influenced by the philosophy of Michael Foucault, New Historicism acknowledged not only that a work of literature is influenced by its author's times and circumstances, but that the critic's response to that work is also influenced by his environment, beliefs, and prejudices. This is in contrast to other types of criticism such as textual and formal, in which emphasis is placed on examining the text itself while outside influences on the text are disregarded. The next question is match the following authors with the novels. Name of the novel, name of the author. Name of the novel Inheritance, Listening Now, Sister of My Heart, The Hero's Walk. Name of the author Chitra Banerjee Devakuni, Anita Rao Badami, Anjana Apachana, Indira Ganeshan. So what is the answer? Options are A 1 3 2 4, 4 2 1 3, 3 4 2 1, 4 1 3 2. So what is the answer? The answer number C is the answer 3 4 2 1. If we discuss about its detail, A3 Chitra Banerjee Devakuni's novel Sister of My Heart 1999 relates the emotional story of two young Kolkata girls. B4 Anita Rao Badami's novel The Hero's Walk 2001 tells the story of southeastern Indian Brahmin family facing the decline of its social and material prestiges and navigating a series of character-driven internal conflict. C2 Anjana Apachana is a novelist of Indian origin who lives in the United States. Listening Now tells the story of Malika, a romantic and passionate child who recounts and bemoans the tragic tale of her mother Padma, as she believes it to be. We then hear the same history related by Padma's sister, mother, and friends, and ultimately by Padma's herself. D1 Indra Ganeshan was born in Srirangam, India, and moved to St. Louis, Missouri at age 5. Inheritance is a fiction novel. Sonil finds the imperfect escape from her mother's lack of affection and passion by involving herself in a scenario that is almost identical to her mother's ill-fated affair with her English father. The next question is the Romantic period produced a fair amount of dramatic criticism. A notable examples is on the knocking at the gate in Macbeth. Who is the author? The author. Option A Thomas D. Quincey. Option B Edmund Kean. Option C William Hazlitt. Option D William Charles Macready. So what is the answer? The option number A is the answer Thomas D. Quincey. If we discuss about its detail on the knocking at the gate in Macbeth, it is an essay in Shakespearean criticism by the English author Thomas D. Quincey, first published in the October 1823 edition of the London Magazine. It has been called D. Quincey's finest single critical piece and one of the most penetrating critical footnotes in literature. It appears in most anthologies of criticism and 19th century prose. D. Quincey wrote that for him the knocking always had a pronounced effect. It reflected back upon the murder a peculiar awfulness and depth of solemnity. The next question is in his practical criticism, I.A. Richards suggests that there are several kinds of meanings and that the total meaning. It is blend of contributory meanings which are of different types. He identifies 4 kinds of meaning or the total meaning of a word depends upon 4 factors. Choose the right combination as proposed by Richard. So what is the answer? Options are sense, feeling, tone, and matter. Image, feeling, tone, and intention. Sound, sense, tone, and matter. Sense, feeling, tone, and intention. So, what is the answer? The answer number D is the option number D is the answer. Sense, feeling, tone, intention. ठीक है. If we discuss again about its explanation, I.A. Richards was the first critic to bring to the English criticism a scientific precision and Objectivity. He was the first distinguish between the two uses of language, the referential and the emotive. His well articulated theory is found in his principles of literary criticism. The all important fact for the study of literature or any other mode of communication is that there are several kinds of meaning. Whether we speak, write, listen, and read, the total meaning is a blend of several contributory meanings of different types. Sense, to speak, to say something, and when we listen we expect something to be said. Feeling, the attitude toward what we convey to know as feeling. Tone, the speaker has an attitude to his listener. He chooses and arranges his words differently as his audience varies. An automatic of deliberate recognition of his relation to them. Intention. Finally, there is a speaker's intention, his aim, conscious or unconscious, the effect of his enduring to promote. The next question is, the following lines are W.B. Yeats' metaphor for an old man. A tattered coat upon a stick, unless soul clap its hand and sing, and the louder sing, for every tatter is in its mortal dress. Here the aged man is dash, and his soul in its mortal dress is dash. Options are point, counterpoint, tenor, vehicle, analogy, analog, vehicle, tenor. So what is the answer? The answer number B, option number B is the answer, tenor and vehicle. If we discuss about its detail, 𝗘𝗴𝗵𝗶𝗵 is a poem by William Butler Yeats. It was published in the 1928 collection The Tower. Yeats' Sailing to Byzantium describes the metaphorical journey of a man pursuing his own vision of eternal life as well as his conception of paradise. W.B. Yeats uses powerful metaphors to express the speaker's feeling about growing old and dying. He compares an aged man to a scarecrow, a tattered coat upon a stick. Yeats says that an aged man is worthless within tattered coat upon his weak and thin body. The old man looks like a scarecrow. The aged man acquires some merit or values only if old age is accompanied by spiritual recognition, by admiring the great work of art. A terminology introduced by the critic I.A. Richard distinguishes between tenor and the purport or meaning of the image, and vehicle, the image which conveys the meaning. The last and final question of today is, Thomas Ness' Unfortunate Traveler is narrated by Jane Little, a course papist, Jack Wilson, an English space, Peter Marston is Warren Calvinist, Philip Foxe in Unfortunate Traveler, or The Life of Jack Wilson published The Unfortunate Traveler, or The Life of Jack Wilson is a picaresque novel by Thomas Ness, first published in 1594 but set during the reign of Henry VIII of England. The Unfortunate Traveler is a brutal and realistic tale of adventure narrated with speed and economy. The book describes the travels through Germany and Italy of its rough hero Jack Wilson, who lives by his wits and witnesses all sorts of historic events. Okay guys, in the next video I will discuss about the next series of that solved question paper set of 2018. So thank you.